Good day, everyone. This is Planet Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there, Drac. We're together again.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Been a while. I wondered if you were going to remember the intro to the show. I was almost positive you were going to mess it up, but you didn't, so good job, sir.
All right. Well, then, let's see what I do mix up as we continue along here. Let's begin with the Chronicle, issue 426, where we've got whatever that thing is.
I've been trying to figure that out. It kind of looks like a dragon, maybe? I don't know. I have no idea what this is from.
Oh yeah, that does look like a dragon now that you...
Unless this is from one of the newer quests, which I have yet to do, so it might be
has to be a blue dragon.
You can say it's definitely... I think it's a blue dragon, but I don't know for sure. So if anybody knows what the heck is on the Chronicle cover, podcast at ddoplayers.com, because I'm pretty sure it's a dragon, and I think there's like a spell effect or something going off, right? I don't know. It's kind of a cool picture. But yeah, I think it's because there's like a spell effect going off.
I thought the lightning was just starting.
Oh, that could be it too, maybe. I don't know. It's a really cool shot, but I do believe that is a dragon.
All right. So whether somebody has a light spell on the dragon or the dragon is just beginning to spit out lightning, whichever one is the case.
Podcast at ddoplayers.com if you have any idea what's going on in this picture. Because clearly we do not.
All right, what's in the Chronicle this week?
Well, in our Chronicle, the Community Spotlight is spotlighting Alex. He is delving into the world of DDO convention swag in a new video. He just kind of rolled out all of the DDO, and it wasn't all convention swag. Most of it was, though. He was just like showing off some DDO physical merchandise. So if you haven't watched that video, go check that out. Our Guild Hall section of our Chronicle this week is Children of the Horned Rat. That is an awesome guild name. They are in a Argonescence-based guild with relaxed rules that is more casual than elite. The small guild has a Discord and is more interested in finding great people than have a large number of members. Read more over on the DDO forums, and that's in the Guild Hall. We do have our fan site news section. DDO Cast is building a melee character. Click over for part 3 of the DDO Cast melee build series. Patrick is doing over on the DDO Cast podcast. DDO Stream, of course, your first stop to find DDO over on Twitch, the official Twitch. This week, Voodoo Spice kicking things off with a coffee and DDO talk. I like it. A bard's life becomes a pixie in the wind. And Cordovan is taking a group of players back to Chanticleer, but a little bit different, this time via the tabletop. So check that video out as well. Also on Twitch, lots of other people twitching DDO, which is always great to see. Skull Priest 1210 raids over on Argo. Samus Garobo gets some gear in favor. And Leduc62 conducts a French language stream from Thelanis. And I bet I probably butchered that name because I should have pronounced it with a French accent. But if I would have did that, it probably would have came off totally wrong. So use your imagination.
Do we need to have a contest of which of us could do a worse French accent?
Maybe. I bet you could probably do a pretty good, bad French accent, probably. Because I've heard you do some other accents, so you could probably do a decent job at a French accent. I mean, I'll be honest.
The problem is when you throw in the 62, because do you say the 62 in English or in French?
See, that's true. And I was going to say, I'll be honest, my French accent, the only thing I know about French is from Pepe Le Pew, so probably not the best guide to go with the French accent against, but...
not the best guide to a French accent.
Just going to be honest, all I know about French, I learned from Pepe Le Pew.
I thought you would have learned some of it from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, right?
away or I shall taunt you a second time.
Over on YouTube, Clorox DDO seizes the dawn. 6 Sides of Gaming is heading into the demon web, and Studio 35 Gaming is reviewing DDO. So check those videos out over on YouTube. We've got a Chronicle comment, and I have not even looked at this question at all, so I'm going in blind. So this should be interesting. What is the first question you should ask yourself before a boss encounter?
Do I have enough arrows?
Ooh, that is a good answer, Piney. I was going to say, how am I going to die from this? But yeah. Your sounds a little more prepared. Okay.
Not if the answer is 3.
Well, then you're in trouble. And then we have our screenshot of the week. That is Propane does it again in the 510th DDO screenshot of the week. Thanks, Propane, for sending in this cool screenshot of your time travel.
Yes, of time travel.
Timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey.
It's always timey-wimey stuff, finally. Always.
All right, then.
And that's it for the Chronicle and really the DDO news, because there's not much in DDO right now. Saltmarsh is coming. They're working on it. So hopefully we'll have that to talk about soon. And a Lamania build to talk about at some point, hopefully.
Then let's go to the dungeon. Where D&D announces summer-long celebration of Drizzt.
Okay. Of who now?
Yeah. Drizzt.
I love how everybody pronounces it. It's great because no two people will say that name the same. But yes, Wizards of the Coast did announce it's the summer of all things Drizzt Do'Urden, the iconic D&D hero made famous in countless 30-plus novels. So I guess it's not too countless because there's actually 30-plus. Penned by, of course, New York best time-selling author R.A. Salvatore. Kicking off things to get the Summer of Drizzt going is a little short narrated movie that is narrated by none other than Benedict Cumberbatch. It was written by R.A. Salvatore. It's called Sleep Sound, The Legend of Drizzt. It is introducing fans to the hero and his companion, and it is debuting as a part of another video they released where host B. Dave Walters sat down with R.A. Salvatore and talked about all things Drizzt that were coming out this summer, including the Dark Alliance video game, which, of course, stars Drizzt and his famous companions. That's coming out on June 22nd. There was some details about the new Drizzt book from R.A. Salvatore. That is going to come out August 3rd. And they previewed 3 of the new Magic the Gathering cards, which are coming up as part of a new Adventures in the Forgotten Realms set for Magic the Gathering. That comes out July 23rd, and there is a Drizzt card in that. So the Summer of Drizzt coming in hot and heavy, as they say. Of course, if you're not familiar with Drizzt, he's been around for quite a long time, since the early 80s. R.A. Salvatore introduced him in a book, and then he's kind of become like a cult hero from there. He's the lovable drow that everybody loves to love, and a lot of people hate.
The main ones who hate him are actually there are 2 groups of people that probably hate him. One are the Elminster fans, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
and the other one are the drow from his native land.
Exactly. He's not your typical drow, that is for sure. But that's not all, though. There's a lot more Drizzt coming our way. There is going to be a Funko Pop figure. There's going to be Halloween costumes, t-shirts, replica scimitars, and more. Also, a live-action TV show is in development with E1 Entertainment. It's not particularly focused on Drizzt, but they did kind of hint that Drizzt is going to make an appearance in the live-action TV show. And then, of course, the movie, which is in filming now, is set in the Forgotten Realms. Again, no clue if Drizzt is going to be in there, but if you have a movie set in the Forgotten Realms, you would think you would include Drizzt in it, but we'll see.
It depends on what part of the... Well, actually, he probably traveled in every single part of the realms anyway, right?
True. He's more known for, like, Icewind Dale, though. That's more of his area in the Forgotten Realms is the whole Icewind Dale. But he has pretty much traversed all of the Forgotten Realms, though. But we'll see. So, welcome to the Summer of Drizzt.
Yeah, he's traveled to so many places, he's forgotten all the play. Let's go and see what's on the tabletop. Where it looks like we have a few people who've decided they don't want to go to Gen Con.
Yeah, there is a lot of game companies that are saying, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. It started off with Paizo making the announcement, we are not going to be at Gen Con this year. They are going to have a presence at Gen Con online, but they're not going to have a physical presence at Gen Con itself. So shortly after Paizo announced that, I think the biggest one so far has been Asmodee USA and Asmodee North American Studios said, yeah, we're not going to be there either. Asmodee.
Asmodee?
Yeah. So therefore, any game company under Asmodee's umbrella not going to have a physical presence at Gen Con. Ergo, Fantasy Flight Games will not be at Gen Con this year. And if you have ever gone to Gen Con, you know the Fantasy Flight Games booth is huge. And that is a pretty much, you always go there and there's people standing in a huge line waiting to get whatever the big thing from Fantasy Flight Games is that they announce at usually Gen Con. No. So anybody under the Asmodee umbrella, not going to be at Gen Con. There's a lot of other people too. So let's run down the list. Who is not going to be at Gen Con 2021? As of this recording of May 26th, these are the companies you will not see physically at Gen Con. Asmodee North America Studios, Atomic Mass Games, the Gen Con Auction and Consignment Store, not at Gen Con this year. Fantasy Flight Games, Goodman Games, Yellow USA, Looney Labs, Paizo, Privateer Press, True Dungeon is not going to be at Gen Con this year. Ultra Pro, Van Ryder Games, and Z-Man Games. So yeah, and I'm telling you, Fantasy Flight Games took up a huge section of the vendor hall. Paizo took up a huge section of the vendor hall. Yellow also took up a huge section of the vendor hall. Ultra Pro, huge chunk, usually right in the middle of the vendor hall, was all Ultra Pro. So either the vendor hall is going to have a lot of open spaces, or there's going to have to be a bunch of little game companies jump in at the chance to grab up some hot real estate in the Gen Con vendor hall. It remains to be seen. We'll see. Tickets are on sale, or I should say badges. They're not tickets, they're technically badges. Badges are on sale now. So far, 4-day pass is still available. They haven't sold out as of yet. So we'll see. But yeah, a lot of people bailing out on Gen Con 2021. And we'll see. And I found out today we might not have Gen Con coverage this year.
Ooh.
For the first time in, 5 years, I might not be going to Gen Con as press. Because of course, we talked about on previous podcasts how Gen Con is limiting badges this year because they're limiting the amount of people. They're also limiting press. For the first time ever that I've ever applied for a press badge, I'm on a press badge waiting list, which has never happened before. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means if somebody else decides not to go, people on the wait list get to take spots open, or I'm not sure. I emailed them for clarification on what the heck this means. So we'll see. So yeah, we might not be at Gen Con. I mean, I'm going to be at Gen Con. I still think I'm planning on going, but I'm not going to work the convention if I'm paying to go. I'm going to actually go and have fun and enjoy Gen Con for once, which, I mean, I have fun. I don't mean to make it seem that way. I enjoy interviewing other people and doing all the work at Gen Con, but I just don't get to enjoy it as much as I would if I was just going as non-press, if that kind of makes sense.
Right.
So yeah, so we'll see. We'll see.
You can't spend time doing things like playing in tournaments and
right, exactly,
gaming and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Interviewing people.
That's exactly it. So we'll see. So stay tuned for that. I said I did reach out for clarification on what the heck this waitlist means. As I said, in my trying to think, how long have we been covering the show for the site? 6 years now, I think. Something like that. I've never had a wait list. I always apply for the press badge, and usually 2 days later, it's like, hey, congratulations, you are official press for Gen Con, insert year here. This year, I got my email today, and I thought, oh, sweet, I got approved for, oh, no, wait, I'm on a wait list. So, yeah, so there's that. So stay tuned. We'll see what goes on with that. It's just a weird year. COVID is making it weird. I kind of have a feeling no game company has really came out and said that's the reason they're not going to be there, but I kind of have a feeling they're a little worried about that. And then plus, like, some of them I know probably travel restrictions are in place for them too as well. So it's just a strange, as we've talked about on the past couple of podcasts about Gen Con when we've been talking about Gen Con. It's just a weird vibe this year for Gen Con, and it just keeps getting weirder. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see who else is not going to be at Gen Con game company wise. As like I said, it seems like every day one or two more add their name to the not going to show up list.
Yeah, see, it sounds like you had all those big and small, because Asmodee at one extreme, and Looney Games isn't exactly a large company.
That's exactly true too. Yeah, I will admit, I did kind of laugh when I saw that. I'm like, ooh, Looney Labs, that's a little 3x2 table that's going to be open now. I mean, not that I have anything against Looney Labs. I love you, Looney Labs. I love talking to you every year. I go talk to them every year. We have reviewed Looney Labs stuff some before. I love you guys to death. But yeah, you don't have a huge presence at Gen Con. So, like you said, it is kind of like the both ends of the spectrum there. It's like the big and the small, both not showing up to Gen Con.
Let's then head into our next piece of news, where apparently you interviewed Lowen Games concerning a little Kickstarter.
Yeah, we did. This was a really fun chat I had with Andrew Lowen of Lowen Games about the upcoming Kickstarter for the board game Deliverance. We talked about what it was, how he kind of thought it up, the brainchild for the game. It's a little unique take on dungeon crawling tactics. Should be an interesting game, and that Kickstarter is launching soon. So June 8th. Yeah, I was going to look that up. I thought it was the 8th. I wanted to say that, but I was going to look it up to make sure I was saying the right date. But yeah, June 8th. It's coming to Kickstarter. So, but yeah, check that video out. It's was a fun little interview. Andrew was a pretty cool guy to talk to. And the game sounds super interesting too. It's got some unique mechanics. And like I said, it's a very unique take on a tactical skirmish / dungeon crawl type game.
So this is then angels versus demons or something like
Yes,
that?
it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You play an angel, and you are facing demons, and you
Oh,
have it's very much a Christian based game. I mean, the whole game revolves around your powers as an angel and what you can do as an angel, and
oh.
all the demons and the forces of evil trying to thwart your plans, and they're trying to take over this town. You're trying to save this town. There's various saints on the board as well, and those demons are going to corrupt those saints, and you have to save those saints, because if you ignore the saints, they bring darkness. The more darkness that's on the board, the harder it's going to make for you. So you definitely want the saints to be not oppressed. So yeah, it's a very interesting looking and sounding game.
Is this a co-op or?
It is, yes.
Okay. The only problem is then that you wish that you could play the demons, right?
Yes, actually, I'm not gonna lie. During the whole interview, I'm like, man, it would be so fun to play the demons in this. But
Yeah, because I know you. Whenever
I know you do.
Dark.
I know you do. Yes, you do. Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of. I'm like, oh man, this would be so fun to play the demons in this and see what you can do. But yeah, so yeah, it is a co-op. It's 1 to 4 players. There is a solo mode, and he did say he built the solo mode from the ground up. So it's not like you just grab 2 angels and that's your solo mode, how a lot of games do solo mode. It's
Right.
like, okay, it's a co-op game, so just play with 2 characters and there you go. No, he built the solo mode from the ground up to be a true solo mode. And the game AI actually controls all the demons. So all of their actions are semi kind of programmed. You roll a dice, and then whatever you roll on the dice, that's what that demon does. And then, of course, once you get through enough of the little minions, the actual big named demon comes out, and then that's when the game really gets hard. But yeah, it's an interesting game. I am pretty excited about this game, actually. It sounds pretty fun.
Is this one of those games that's going to have 2 versions of it, the base version and the deluxeified version?
Yes. Apparently you didn't listen to this interview, did you? Because we talked about that. Yes, it is.
Oh.
Yes, it is. They are going to have a version of it with just the standees.
Right.
And then you will have a deluxe version of it that will have minis. So
right. That's which one I would prefer.
Yeah. So if you're not a mini person, you can go with the, and God, it's been a while since we actually recorded this interview. I can't remember, but I want to say, I think he said the price point for the standee version was going to be like, I want to say like $69.95 or $79.95.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. Like it was going to be like $70 or $80 for the standee, and then the miniature version was like $120, I think. Something like that. You'd have to go back and listen to the video. Like I said, I apologize if those prices are wrong. It's been a while since we recorded this interview, so
you'll find out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, really. Exactly. Gonna say June 8th. It's coming on Kickstarter, so we'll find out. But yeah, and there's a couple different YouTube videos. I should have actually linked them. Maybe I'll go back and edit this article over on the site, because there's a couple of YouTube videos where people have gotten prototype versions of the game to like play through. So if you kind of want to see what it plays like, One Stop Co-op Shop did one, and a brand new channel, which I hadn't heard of until this, did an excellent version too. That channel is called Love to Hate. Those 2 channels, I think, did really good videos. So look those up on YouTube if you're interested in this video. And we were actually supposed to get a prototype version to show off, but there was a problem and it kind of mixed. So we unfortunately did not get it, and I don't think we're going to get one now. So we were going to get one for us to like unbox and do like a little quick playthrough so you could see how it plays, and then we were going to ship it off to the next person, but there was a mix-up. So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, but stay tuned. That might still happen. Andrew said he was still kind of like working out some kinks that he had with, because he only had a couple of prototypes made, so he was just kind of shipping them off to various press sites, and they were doing, unboxings and reviews and all of that, and then they were shipping them to the next person, which happens quite a lot. We've had quite a few prototypes like that we've shot videos for and then shipped them to whoever else is doing the next coverage or whatever. So
yeah, that's the tricky thing with different companies have different ways of which handling their prototypes.
Yeah, and
some send print and play assets, for example.
Yeah, and the thing to remember too is Lowen Games is just it's Andrew. He is doing this himself. We kind of talked about that in the video too. There was several companies that approached him about wanting to kind of like quote unquote buy the rights to the games so they could publish the games, but he just didn't feel like anyone that he talked to was a good fit. So he just decided, you know what, I think I can do this. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to contain control over it so I can, So, I mean, it's amazing what he's done just in the past couple of years as this has been in development. So we're definitely looking forward to see what this Kickstarter does June 8th, Deliverance. But check the interview out if you haven't. Apparently, Pine Leaf has not listened to it yet. It's okay.
Then let's head out to our next little item where the Spiel Jahres 2021 nominations have been announced. And who are the finalists for this? And did I ever heard of any of these games?
Okay, let's see. Yeah, this is always fun. We always play this game. It's like, nope, never heard of that, never played it, and don't even know what that is. So for the Game of the Year, of course, the Spiel Jahres is The Adventures of Robin Hood. That is published by Cosmos. Micro Macro Crime City, published by Edition Spielwise. And Zombie Teens Evolution, published by The Scorpion Mask / Yellow. That was actually a yellow game as well.
I haven't played any of them.
I haven't played any of them. I know of The Adventures of Robin Hood. Actually, I've been talking to Cosmos about that. I think we're gonna get a copy of that to review. We were going to, but since it got nominated for the Spiel Jahres, I don't know if that changes plans for that or not. But I know at one point we were supposed to get a review copy of that. I should check on that. And then we talked to 2 years ago, because of course last year, no Gen Con, boohoo. We talked to Yellow about Zombie Teens Evolution. If I think about it and remember to do it, I'll kind of link our video down in the show notes for that. So you can kind of see Zombie Teens Evolution. Like I said, that was a yellow game. I think in Germany and Europe as a whole, it was published by Le Scorpion Mask, but here in the United States, I know for sure that one was a yellow game. And then, of course, they offer recommendations as well. They're not up for the award, but these are just games that they say, these could have been Game of the Year as well. And these were Bliss 20, Chakra, Point Salad, Switch and Signal, and the key Sabotage at Lucky Llama Land.
All right, let's see. Now, I've obviously heard of Point Salad because I remember people sometimes refer to that. It sounds like a very tongue-in-cheek name for a
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what the game is. It is a point salad game, so yes.
Yes. And
other than that, never heard of these other ones. Ever.
Okay, what about the Kennerspiel?
The Kennerspiel is Fantasy Realms by WizKids, Lost Ruins of Arnak by Chex Games Edition, and Paleo by Hans in Gluck. I've heard of Fantasy Realms and I've heard of Lost Ruins, but Paleo...
I think I've heard of that. I don't think I've seen a playthrough of any of them, though.
Yeah, I've watched a playthrough of Lost Ruins of Arnak. I think I'm going to buy that at some point because that seems like the type of game I would like. Fantasy Realms, I'm pretty sure I know what Fantasy Realms was, and I kind of looked at maybe buying that, but then I thought, nah, maybe when it goes on sale at some point I might pick it up or something. But yeah. And then recommendations in the Kennerspiel are Aeon's End, Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, and Rift Force, which I am really kind of shocked Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lions was not actually nominated. I figured for sure Jaws of the Lions would get the nod, but it didn't, which kind of was
It didn't.
shocking to
Yeah,
me.
that sounds like it would have been a good one to have on there. Now, why I'm wondering though is when it says Aeon's End, because Aeon's End they must mean, because okay, they had Aeon's End Outcasts that came out during the last year, but the original Aeon's End came out 5 years ago.
Yeah, I was kind of confused about that too. I'm assuming they mean the Outcast. I assume, just like Gloomhaven wasn't Gloomhaven, it was specifically Jaws of the Lion. So yeah, I would assume that's what they mean, but yeah, I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird too. And then our Kinderspiel, of course, the kids' game of the year. Dragon Amino, that of course is by Blue Orange Games. Mia London and the Case of the 625 Scoundrels, published by Le Scorpion Mask. And Storytellers, published by Lifestyle Board Games. Dragon Amino, only game I've ever heard of on this list.
Well, I haven't even heard of that one.
That is basically the kids' version of King Domino. So if you've ever...
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yes,
that's what it sounds like.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. It's you're basically playing dragons. You're a dragon, and it's basically King Domino, but it's the kids' version.
Okay, is it a kids' version because it's a dragon theme, or is it a kids' version because it's very, very simplified?
It's simplified, and it's just a kids' game all around. I mean, it's designed and made for kids.
Okay.
And then the recommendations in the Kinderspiel are Dreamcatcher, Hip Hop Hippo, Inspector Nass, Captain Color, Memo Friends, Swipe Sheep, and Tapical. Sure, why not? No idea about it either. We won't have to wait long to see who wins, though. June 14th for the Kinderspiel and July 19th for the Spiel and the Kinderspiel.
Okay. Then that concludes our little survey through the realm of tabletop. So let's head into our week in gaming. What were you up to?
Not a lot. The only thing I did this week is played some first edition D&D, and of course that was over on the classic D&D night over on the D&D DDO street. I screw that up every time. Why do I screw that up every time? I do not know. I cannot say D&D night on DDO stream. I can say it when I think about it, but when I don't think about it and I'm talking about it, I screw it up every dang time. But yeah, classic D&D night, of course, that is DM'd by the one and the only Evil Beaker. And we are running through B1, that is In Search of the Unknown, playing 1E rules, of course. So it's old school D&D, a super fun game to play in. This episode was episode 9, actually. It's called Athena's Guided Blow. If you watch the episode, you'll find out what that title has to do with. And minor spoiler alert, I might be dead.
You might be dead.
I might be dead. It ended on a cliffhanger where I'm unconscious and I'm like -4 health points. So yeah, I might be dead. So we'll see.
We'll see.
And that was really it. That's all I did. My schedule still is wonky. So there you have it. So how about you, Finally?
Well, I played a great deal of ESO.
Yeah, I see that. Every time I pop on to Steam, our Discord, I see, oh, Pine Leaf's on. Oh, look, Pine Leaf's playing Elder Scrolls Online.
Well, actually, that could possibly be deceptive because I've got the launcher up pretty constantly.
Okay.
So
okay.
I might not necessarily be actively playing ESO at the time that you're checking there, because if the launcher is up and I don't have another program active, then ESO
it thinks you're playing. Right,
played.
Exactly. Yeah, it thinks you're playing. Gotcha.
Right. Because usually once I bring up the launcher, I don't go around closing it because I don't feel like waiting for the launch.
Right, that launcher
come
does
back
take a heck of a lot of time to come up. I agree with you.
Yeah. But I have, despite what I just said, been spending a great deal of time in there in the last few weeks in there, where I have a character. Now, I believe I created this character since the last time that we played together on here. But since that time, I've gotten to level 50. I think I either got level 50 either early this week or last week or something like that. So I got the level 50 with just the level cap. So I've been earning champion points. I've got to 160 champion points, which is the maximum equipment level. Equipment, from what I hear, equipment doesn't improve after 160 champions point level. So I've just reached that area. I managed to finish up the. Well, I finished up the Greymore stuff several weeks back, but what I finished up recently is I finished up the Sigic Order quest line recently. I think maybe just about a little bit less than a week ago, and I finished up the Mage Guild quest line last week, so I got that all done with that. And let's see, why did I push so much effort? Oh, that's right. I got the Mage Guild ones because I've been working on antiquities, and I had picked up an antiquity that could only be found if you completed the Mage Guild quest line.
Oh, okay.
So I went in there, made sure I finished up the Mage Guild quest line, finished that all up, and now I have the antiquity for that. And I've also finished up, I think just before the show, I think it's like an hour before we started recording this, I managed to cap out my max level on looking for on antiquities. So I've leveled up my antiquities skill line area over there. So I've got quite a bit of stuff done in that area. And I think probably for the next week, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be getting myself all nice and ready so that when they release Blackwood next week, I'll be all ready to go in. And actually, that's the question: is am I going to have to decide whether I'm going to jump right into Blackwood or if I'm going to wait a few days or where it's going to be a little bit less busy?
You know what happened to us when we tried to do that with Greymore the day it came out?
Yeah.
It didn't work out so well.
Yeah, there is that. Now, one of the things that I might do is that inevitably, whenever they come out with a new expansion, they change the tutorial. And the tutorial is, of course, tends to be solo most of the time. So what I think I might do, I might just create a new character, run the tutorial, and then take my main character off somewhere, check out the other items, and use that to prepare myself. So, because yes, there's a possibility that things are just going to be lag city as soon as we get over to Blackwood, because
yeah, exactly.
That's what happens. Maybe after a couple weeks, it'll calm down enough that I could actually run the actual content. And then over in Tabletop, I've played some Commands and Colors Medieval. So now I've completed 9 scenarios of that. So I have one more scenario that I just started, which would be my 10th. And the reason that's important is because I'm doing a 10 by 10 for CNC games, and this will be my 3rd CNC game for which I would complete the 10 by 10 when I finish up the current scenario I'm in. And that's pretty much my week in gaming because, yeah, I've been playing a lot of ESO. We currently have 17 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this group and support DDO players, you can go to the donations page. We can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money would be used for podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you could send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. But it looks like we do have a featured comment. And what is this?
We did, yeah. It was on the video and audio podcast, whichever you listen to. This was actually on the YouTube video, which apparently Pineleaf didn't watch or listen to, but I digress. It was the Deliverance Low End Games Kickstarter interview video. Samson Lewis says, definitely Catan opened up a whole new world for my wife and kids. And also that train game. I'm assuming he's talking about Ticket to Ride with the train game. Great job as always, Drac. Thanks, I appreciate that.
that train.
Yeah, I just had to laugh. He's like, oh yeah, and that train game. And see, if you would have watched the video, you would have known what that is in context to. I'm never going to let you live this down, Pine Leaf, that you did not watch this video. You were never going to live this down. I hope you know that.
Oh, well.
It's going to be the new Goonies thing on the podcast.
Goonies thing.
You probably forgot about the Goonies thing, didn't you? I didn't forget. I'm like a kobold, Pine Leaf. I never forget.
Kobold never forget. Kobold remember. Oh, what was that again?
You're a kobold, all right.
Kobold never forget, Pine Leaf.
Kobolds never forget. You could follow us on Twitter at Players Alliance at Players Alley, DDO Players at DDO Players, Dracula at Dracula_72, and Ponleaf at Ponleaf Needles. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Wednesdays, occasionally at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Loja Players News. You can join us for our shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Ponleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.